Our next guests are no strangers to the orange carpet. Please welcome back real estate expert Bryan Devore and home transition specialist Jami Shapiro.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What's up?
How you doing?
Good to have you. Mr. Carlsbad.
Yes, sir.
Back in the house. Jami Shapiro here. Silver Linings Transitions.
You got it.
Lots of S's.
Lots of S's.
And you guys are here today to talk about something that's totally new,
Yes.
innovative. I love the concept. Bryan, do you want to start?
Absolutely. So I had Jami come with me on the show a few months ago to talk about her company, Silver Linings Transitions, which helps, it does senior move management. Jami had this fantastic idea, I'll let her tell you about it, that kind of sprung into this new program we started.
Okay. Jami, tell us all about it.
Okay, well, it's called Divorce Home Solutions, also with an S. And basically, can I tell you like what it is and how it got started?
Please.
Okay. So Bryan and I are both going through divorces, and my divorce was going through mediation, and I didn't really know much about the process until we got to a point in mediation where we came to a disagreement about the house. And I went to an attorney, which I hadn't done, and said with the attorney that my ex wanted to have the house either sold or me buy him out in 2 years, which was different than the 10 years we had discussed. So I went to the attorney, and the attorney basically said, you don't have a leg to stand on, and if you can't decide what to do between the two of you, then you get to go before the judge, and you'll be forced to sell your home in 60 days. And that sort of was like, wow.
That's how it works?
That's how it works. And I had no idea. And so I'm thinking you're going through one of the most difficult transitions of your life, divorce, and now you're looking at having to move, possibly. And I actually started the conversation with the attorney, and I said, you know, I have this business, Silver Linings Transitions, and one of the things that we do is help seniors who are going through a transition to get to the next place and kind of do it in a very gentle way. And I said, you know, divorced couples, if they have to sell their home, and even if they don't have to sell their home, someone has to move. And I asked her, you know, what she thought of the idea, and I talked about, you know, doing the inventory, because when you're going through a divorce, you're kind of figuring out who gets what. And I said, what if you like break that down, so not just who gets what, but how does it going to fit in where you're going? So let's take the emotion out of it, and let's just look at the logistics of, here are two homes that we're going to be in, lots of belongings, and how can we divide it up in a way that's fair? So I actually went to Bryan and I said, Bryan, I have this idea. I said, what if we, you know, help them make the decision about what to do with the house? Either they're going to be able to stay and someone will buy another place, someone will rent another place, or you'll have two people that need to make a move. I said, what if we go ahead and we help them through the logistics of the sale, if that's what they need to do, but then we also help them with the logistics of the move, dividing up the inventory, space planning for the new home, and then actually packing them up and unpacking them just like we would for seniors. So that's the concept, and I went to Bryan, and you can, I guess, take it from there.
You were on board.
I was totally on board. Just from my experience, Jami and I both, as real estate agents, have helped clients who are going through divorce, and it's a very stressful situation, and then having to sell the home, the whole 9 yards. And what I liked about this was the fact that no one else is doing it. And there are other agents out there who are helping people sell their homes, but that's all they're doing. Or they're giving a market analysis, but then that's all they're doing. We look at it sort of as going from one house to two homes. We're trying to do everything for them to take that stress off their plate as much as we possibly can. We've talked to a couple divorce attorneys and a couple mediators, and they love the idea because they're looking for partners who they can refer their clients to, who they know they're going to be taken care of through the entire process, not just one transaction and that's it.
Can we drop the name?
It's Divorce Home Solutions.
There it is.
Absolutely. Divorce Home Solutions.
Makes sense.
And the other thing that we did is we actually found out that there's a designation out there called the Certified Real Estate Divorce Specialist, and we went ahead and got that. So we, you know, learned a little bit about the divorce. And I think one of the things that also makes us unique as realtors is that we've both gone through this process, and we're male-female. And I mean, I hate to say this, but when couples are divorcing, a lot of times men sort of distrust women or mistrust. Can we?
No, we're keeping that one.
You know, as we're going through the sorry, cut. As we're going through the process, I think it's helpful for there to be a man and a woman because, you know, from the experiences that I've had, it seems that we're sort of not very trusting of each other. And so we come in, we're neutral, and we've been there. And I think that, for me going through divorce, it's really nice to talk to people who've been there and they understand, and we really can help them separate the emotions from it, but still be empathetic to what they're going through while they're also making a huge life transition.
I've been divorced as well. Anyone here not been divorced? Anyone? Anyone? Only people who haven't been married haven't been divorced.
That's kind of sad.
But the thing is, it's a common thing. That's the reality. I think it finally crossed the 50% threshold. For a while there, it was just under 50% of marriages in a divorce. Now it's over 50% of marriages in a divorce. And I think that number's going to keep going up for a lot of other macro reasons. But the reality is that it's happening.
Right.
And it is tough. It is difficult. I've seen a million times, especially in the credit space back in the day, where people would say, oh, well, but the judge said that's theirs.
Right.
Okay, but what about title? Who's on the loan? Who's making the payments? What's the deal there? There's more to consider than what you can possibly fathom when you're just trying to make sure that your life is in order, when you're going through emotions, when you're going through, the struggles of just trying to figure out where the kid's going to go, where am I going to go, how are we going to get our stuff there, or whatnot. There's more to it than that. So I love the fact that you guys have said, okay, we know that there's almost like a wormhole of issues here that everyone's just kind of considering a black hole over there that we don't have to look at. But we're going to go look at that thing. We're going to get out a magnifying glass. We're going to go look at it. We're going to see where all the issues are, and we're going to become the solution providers.
Well, and the other part of that too is when you're in the middle of a divorce, there's a lot of important forever decisions you have to make. And the last thing you want to do is make them emotionally. You want to make them as logically as possible. So the more we can do to relieve that stress and add the logic to it will help both parties in the long run.
Jami, what resources are available to people who are using this service that might not otherwise be available?
Okay, so basically what Silver Linings Transitions does is we execute the entire move, and we go from where they're living to, and it's always a downsize in the case of seniors, to where they're going to end up, excuse me, and we do a floor plan for them based on the measurements, and then we look at their furniture and we lay it out, and then we execute the plan. So we're packing, we're unpacking, we're decorating, and oftentimes we can do that move. It's typically a 2-day move. It's a pack in one day and it's an unpack the next. I would imagine if we're going to go into 2 homes, it might be a 2-day pack and a 2-day unpack, and different crews for the husband and different crews for the wife. But we offer the packing, the unpacking, the space design, and the decorating, and organization. I tell people, and this was my joke, and I told you when I was on the show before, that not only are you able to find your coffee pot the next day, but you actually have a coffee station set up, because we've got women who are organizers on the team, and they make sure that your home feels right and things are put in the place that makes sense. Another thing that we provide, which actually came as a conversation that I was having with someone who was going through divorce, they had fought about the photo albums and who was going to get the photo albums. So we actually have photo scanning services available where we can actually scan all the pictures and everyone gets a flash drive and nobody has to fight over the pictures. So that's another service that Silver Linings provides.
That's awesome. So not just getting the stuff from point A to point B, but getting it arranged as well. Huge benefit. I can see why a lot of people would want to do this if they're separated or going through a divorce right now, or it's something that's imminent. Definitely something to consider, and a fantastic idea on the part of you all for coming up with it.
Thank you.
Mr. Devore.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carlsbad. Maybe Mr. Oceanside in the future. I know you have a listing you want to talk about today.
I do have a listing I'd like to talk about. So there's a listing in Oceanside that just came on the market. It's a fantastic single story. As we know, there's not a lot of single stories out there. People downsizing are looking for a single story home. This home happens to be completely remodeled. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square foot home with an amazing panoramic view. And like I said, it's in Oceanside, great location near College in Vandergrift. It's listed for $435, so I think it's probably going to sell relatively quickly.
Yeah, that one's going to fly, I imagine, in that price point.
Yeah, absolutely.
With 4 bedrooms.
And then just some interesting information. I read an article in the newspaper the other day, and it references a study that was put out by the San Diego Chamber of Commerce that said essentially we're in a housing crisis in the long term. We're building far fewer homes than we are creating jobs. And from 1996 to 2010, 41% of the jobs that were created, the homes that were built were in San Diego, but most of the jobs were created in other cities, like in Poway, where only 1% of the housing was built. So they say, like in North County, where Carlsbad and Oceanside is, over the next 30 years, they're going to have 2 jobs created for every 1 home built. So we talk about supply and demand and how inventory is restricted. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in 30 years
I can
and
tell you
what
what's going
it
to
looks
happen
like.
based on that. That's a recipe for prices to go much, much higher.
Could be.
Great. Great stuff. Thank you guys so much for coming on today. Really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you so
Stick
much.
around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.